The third prince does not love you. You are merely a chess piece to him. A chess piece. It is not yet certain who is whose chess piece. Since the day the third prince married me and brought me into his home, I knew that the person he loved was my father's position as general. I watched him welcome guests and bid them farewell, as they mingled and toasted to one another. Everyone mocked me, a noble general's daughter, for humbling myself into the dust for the sake of the third prince. Only I knew that a storm was brewing at the general's manor, and the mansion was on the verge of collapse. On the second day after the third prince, the Wei Yang, married me, he brought Zhao Qingqing into the manor in a small sedan. The courtyard was full of guests waiting to see the general's daughter lose her composure, but I only saw the schemes hidden in his eyes. Zhao Qingqing held a teacup and whispered softly, "Sister, please have some tea." The Wei Yang took my hand, signaling me. Qingqing is already with child. I cannot wrong her. I pulled my hand back and asked with a smile, "Then, Your Highness, is it reasonable to wrong me?" His expression stiffened. Zixi suddenly darted past Zhao Qingqing's feet, and she immediately fell into the Wei Yang's arms. I slowly smoothed my sleeves. What truly troubled me was not the concubine, but the family letters from the frontier that were long overdue. I did not make a scene on the spot, only ordering the maid to clear away the broken porcelain on the ground. The Wei Yang coaxed her in a low voice, but I turned and looked outside the door. The steward chased after me and asked, "Wang Fei, would you like to have the imperial physician examine your hand?" No need, secure the pigeon coop first. Compared to this humiliation, the silence from the frontier was like a blade hanging over my head. Zhao Qingqing still refused to let it go and whispered, "Sister, do not blame me. I was just afraid the child would be frightened." I looked at her. "The child is innocent. Do not use him as your blade." The Wei Yang frowned, but I had already turned and left the banquet. I heard Zhao Qingqing call out again, "Wei Yang." I lowered my eyes and said, "No matter how sweetly you call him, do not forget that this is the main residence." At night, the Wei Yang kept her getting company for a meal. Beneath the window, I opened the encrypted letter that had flown in from the frontier. "My father, General Shen, is gravely ill, and can only recuperate at the border under the guise of training troops. This matter must never be known to the Emperor or Li Zuan." The maid whispered, "Xiaoji, should we tell the third prince?" I held the letter under the lamplight. "He wants the Shen family's military power, not the Shen family's safety." Zixi rubbed against the envelope, and I stroked it. "Don't be afraid. Father is still waiting for me." Tucked inside the letter was a military strategy book with my father's annotations. I closed the door and began to memorize the battle formations page by page. If the Shen family is to fall, I must first learn how to stand firm. I turned up the lamp wick, forcing myself to see every word clearly. The maid had red, teary eyes. "If the old general truly cannot hold on, what will become of you, Xiaoji?" I said, "I must not panic first." He asked again, "But what if the third prince finds out?" I burned the letter into ashes. "The later he finds out, the safer the Shen family will be." Laughter drifted in from outside the window. For the first time, I felt this manor was colder than a battlefield. I did not sleep that night, repeatedly writing down father's condition and Li Zhen's movements in code. The maid asked, "Xiaoji, how long must we endure this?" I answered, "Until the Shen family no longer has to rely on anyone's pity." At the third prince's birthday banquet, the Wei Yang was in high spirits, with Zhao Qingqing leaning by his side. Taking advantage of the noisy guests, I toasted with each of my father's former subordinates one by one, privately gauging how many still remained loyal to the Shen family. A subordinate lowered his voice. "Xiaoji, is the general still holding up?" I held my wine cup steady. "As long as you all do not fall into chaos, the Shen family will not fall." Li Zun suddenly walked over and laughed. "It has been over a month since I last saw General Shen. I wonder if he is doing well." "Father is well. Thank you for your concern, Deputy Li." The more polite he was with his questions, the more it indicated that he had sensed the Shen family's weakness. I knew that this man, who was once promoted by my father, had already reached out for military power, and reached out toward the southern border as well. Before the subordinate left, he pressed half an old tiger tally under the bottom of the cup. He said, "This is a token the general left for his subordinates years ago. If Xiaoji has a command, your subordinate dares not disobey." I did not accept it immediately, but said in a low voice, "Now is not the time to raise the banner." Li Zhen's gaze swept over, so I pushed the wine cup back onto the table, maintaining the appearance of a neglected, quiet wife that was expected of me. I tucked the haftily into my sleeve, speaking in a very soft voice. "Tell the uncles. The Shen family still stands." My uncle's eyes grew hot with emotion. "We have waited too long for those words." Seeing Li Zong praise me, Zhao Qingqing immediately let her face turn cold. She clutched her stomach, her words sharp and piercing, determined to prove before everyone that the Wai Ying loved her. Zhao Qingqing said, "What is the use of being a heroine? Wai Yang hates women who lack femininity the most." I walked close to him. "He likes a woman like you, who is already with child before stepping through the door." He was flustered and angered. "Shen Ji, you are nothing but a chess piece for Wai Yang. Who is whose chess piece? It's not yet certain. From the day I married into the prince's manor, I understood that the Hua Ying did not want me. But those who are willing to enter the game will not necessarily lose." Zhao Qingqing covered her face, panic finally appearing in her eyes. The Wei Yang, however, only cared about maintaining his dignity. I did not move closer, just stepping back half a pace, letting everyone see that I was still poised and dignified. The more people think I am a resentful wife trapped by love, the more convenient it will be for me to investigate matters later. Zhao Qingqing retreated behind the Wai Ying. I only saw his posture of protecting her. That posture once stung me, but now it serves as a reminder not to entrust my life and death to his partiality. Zhao Qingqing gritted her teeth. "Are you not afraid that Wei Ying will loathe you?" I answered, rather than fearing his loathing. "I fear being useless." 6 years ago at the palace archery tournament, it was the first time I clearly saw the Wai Ying and Zhao Qingqing. They arrived late, and seeing me practicing sword alone, their laughter was more piercing than the target. "Shen Ji, a mere woman. How could you win against a prince?" I pulled the bow fully. "The target will not move aside just because I am a woman." An arrow struck the bullseye. The laughter of the crowd came to an abrupt halt. Fearing he would lose face, Zhao Qingqing secretly had a maid roll a stone. I stumbled and fell, my sword edge grazing past his side. She lunged into the Wai Ying's arms. "Wei Yang, did Gigi do that on purpose?" I stood up, enduring the pain, understanding for the first time that some people cannot afford to lose, so they will make even your victories look like mistakes. When that sword grazed past Zhao Qingqing, I could have actually explained about the stone. But the Wai Yang had already stepped in front of her, as if I were the one with malicious intent. Father watched from afar and only asked me, "Does it hurt?" I gritted my teeth and said, "It doesn't hurt." He said, "Remember, beyond winning and losing, you must also learn how to see through people." I remembered those words for many years. Father did not punish anyone for me, but simply told me to shoot another arrow. I asked, "Even after falling, I must still shoot?" He said, "The more you have fallen, the more you must let them see that you can still stand." After the competition, the Wai Yang, he pulled me into a corner. He did not ask if I was hurt from the fall, only complaining that I had made him lose face. "Gee, I do not like you being so competitive. Why can't you learn from Qingqing? I have a marriage contract. That does not mean I must live as the person you like." He frowned. "You will be the third prince's consort sooner or later." I stared at him. Compared to being the third prince's consort, I would rather be Shen Ji. At that time, I thought I could refuse this marriage contract forever. But father fell gravely ill. Li Zan was closing in, and the Shen family was surrounded by enemies on all sides. Years later, when the Wai Ying petitioned to marry me, I nodded nonetheless, because the prince's manor was the door to the center of power. Later, I realized that refusal to be the third prince's consort in my youth was not just stubbornness, but instinct. The Wai Yang wanted a docile flower, and Zhao Qingqing was willing to pretend to be that flower. But I am the daughter raised by the Shen family. I have held a bow in my hands, and I have read military books. Father once asked me, If one day you have no choice but to marry," I answered, "then I will marry to be useful." When the marriage contract was forced upon us again, father held my hand from his sickbed. "I have wronged you." I shook my head. If this marriage can buy the Shen family a chance at survival, then it is not a wasted effort. To investigate Li Zian for colluding with the enemy, I changed into a night-traveling outfit and snuck onto the roof of the Li residence. The candle flickered in the study, as if two people were whispering in secret. I was just about to move closer, but Zixi followed me. I whispered, "Zixi, don't meow." But it let out a meow, startling those inside. Before the door opened, I had already gripped my dagger. A familiar voice drifted out from inside. "Official Li." My cat actually followed me here today. The Wai Ying walked out the door, and as he looked up, he saw me on the roof. My heart sank. Him appearing at the Li residence in the middle of the night was suspicious in itself. And if he were to identify me, a crack would widen in the Shen family's secrets. I held my breath, my fingers clutching the roof tiles. "Your Highness, there seems to be movement on the roof." The Wai Ying laughed. Just a stray cat. I see, in that case, I shall take my leave today. Having said that, Li Zun left directly. I took note of it in my heart. He covered for me, though it might not be for my sake. The Wei Yang whispered, "Come down." I gritted my teeth, carried the cat, and flipped down, owing him a favor I never wanted. I asked in a low voice, "Why did you help me?" The Wei Yang looked at the shadows of the lights in the Li residence. "Don't be self-indulgent." "I just didn't want any unnecessary trouble," I replied. "Then I thank you for your selfishness." I lowered my voice. "This time, I owe you one. Then remember it clearly. Don't owe me for too long." The Wei Yang's gaze was colder than the night itself. I was just thinking about how to explain my secret visit to the Li residence. Yet he gave me an out first. The Wei Yang asked, "Were you following me?" I immediately put on a show of being jealous. "I am the consort you married through a proper public ceremony." "What is wrong with following you? Don't do such embarrassing things in the future." I lowered my head. "Since your highness is afraid of losing face, stay away from such places in the future." He flicked his sleeves and left. I let out a long sigh of relief. Sometimes, a misunderstanding works better than the truth. At least for this night, Li Zun did not discover me. And the Wei Yang did not suspect me. What I was really watching was the evidence of treason. Upon returning to the mansion, I deliberately messed up my hem, pretending to be disheveled from chasing my husband. My maid stamped her feet in anxiety. "Miss, what if this reputation spreads?" I laughed. "Let it spread. If everyone believes I am just acting out of jealousy, Li Zun will never suspect that someone is tracing his study's secret letters and the southern frontier merchant caravans, slowly closing in on his throat." As expected, the Wei Yang did not pursue the matter further later on. He only grounded me for 3 days. Through the window, I instructed my maid. "Have someone watch the back door of the Li residence closely?" "Understood. Grounding can restrict my steps, but it cannot stop the path I need to investigate." Whenever Zhao Qingqing came to find trouble, I always tried to play the submissive role, turning a blind eye. If I was unhappy, I would just retort with a few words. But precisely because of my negligence and lack of defenses against Zhao Qingqing, she actually discovered the letter my father wrote to me. She held the Wei Ying's command token, claiming a night pearl had gone missing, and insisted on searching my room. I blocked her way. "Zhao Qingqing, this is not your courtyard." She raised the command token. "Any place that Wei Yingage allows me to enter, I can enter." As she ransacked the boxes, my father's letter sent by carrier pigeon fell into her hands. She read the contents clearly, and her eyes lit up instantly. Zhao Qingqing said triumphantly, "The Shen family is deceiving the emperor. I am going to report this to the throne right now." I reached out to grab the letter, but out of caution for the child in her womb, I was pushed to the ground by her. At that moment, my father's life was gripped in her fingertips. The letter was crumpled by Zhao Qingqing's grip. I could almost hear my own heartbeat. She wasn't satisfied with just that. She deliberately read out parts of the illness, trying to force me to lose my composure. I lowered my voice. "If you dare to speak of this, even the Wei Yang won't be able to protect you. I have his child." I looked at her stomach, suddenly feeling it was pathetic. She thought the child was an amulet, not knowing that in the face of power, even an amulet can shatter. Zhao Qingqing stepped back, deliberately raising her voice. "Someone, prepare the carriage. Go and report it now. By tomorrow, it may not be me who is discarded." "Are you threatening me?" I said. "I'm trying to save you." She didn't believe me. "I want to see who will be finished first." Just as Zhao Qingqing was about to rush out, the Wei Yang blocked the doorway. "So, it turns out our conversation just now." He heard every word clearly. "Wei Yang, the Shen family is hiding an illness to deceive the emperor. You must handle this for me." The Wei Yang snatched the letter. "Guards, confine the concubine to her room." She was stunned. "Jiangxia, I am carrying your child. If this matter gets out, my position as crown prince will also be finished." For the first time, Zhao Qingqing understood that neither she nor her child mattered more than power. I stood to the side, seeing it all very clearly. It's not that the Wei Yang doesn't love her. It's just that his love is always ranked behind his future. The Wei Yang closed the door, leaving even Zhao Qingqing's cries trapped inside. He handed the letter back to me, his tone lacking any apology. "Shenji, you had better ensure General Shen can hold on until I enter the Eastern Palace. Jiangxia had also better ensure that Zhao Qingqing will never touch my belongings again." As Zhao Qingqing was being dragged away, she was still calling out the Wei Yang name. The Wei Yang did not look back. I suddenly understood that if he could discard her today, He could discard me in the days to come. That is why I absolutely cannot rely solely on his cooperation. After Zhao Qingqing was taken away, the Wei Yang turned to look at me. The disdain in his eyes was finally gone. He thought he had married a pawn, only to discover that the pawn had already sharpened its blade. Shen Jie, how much have you been keeping from me? I stood up. Dangxia only needs to know. If father falls, the Shen family falls. And your position as crown prince will fall too. He gritted his teeth. You want me to protect you? I shook my head. I want you to protect yourself. And incidentally, protect the Shen family. Neither of us trusts the other, yet we are forced to be in the same boat. The Wei Yang was silent for a long time, not refusing. That night, we laid all the interests we could speak of on the table. He wants the position of crown prince. I want Li Zan to face justice. He wants the reputation of the Shen family. I want my father to be safe until the very last moment. The Wei Yang finally understood. You married me. To investigate Li Zioan, I replied. Did Dangxia not marry me? To gain military power? What if I go back on my word? I answered. Dangxia will not. A smart man does not dismantle his own ladder before reaching the top. He stared at me for a long time, finally smiling, yet the smile was cold. The day the Wei Yang became crown prince, news of my father's passing came from the border. I opened the final letter. On the paper was only father's familiar handwriting, without a single word of weakness. I choked up and said, Father, your daughter has remembered it. The Wei Yang pushed the door open, throwing the divorce papers on the table. The southern frontier princess is coming to marry into the family. Take care of yourself. I touched the ink that hadn't yet dried. Suddenly, it didn't hurt at all. Having lost my father, I had no value in his eyes. And without this husband, I actually felt more like Shen Ji. I kept the divorce papers without tearing them, and I didn't cause a scene. The maid asked while crying, Miss, are you really just leaving like this? The cleaner the departure, the less I owe him. My father's letter was tucked away close to my heart, and the military manuals were placed in my travel bag. The identity of the third prince's consort was like an old garment. Only when I took it off did I realize how light my shoulders could be. Just as I was packing to leave the Eastern Palace, Zhao Qingqing walked in, looking pale. She used to love dressing up lavishly, but now even her hairpins were crooked. Zhao Qingqing said tremblingly, Ji, Wei Yang had the imperial physician abort my child? I was stunned. Why? She cried and said, he said the southern frontier princess has a noble status, and she cannot tolerate this child. I said in a low voice, do you understand now? A man's favor cannot be relied upon. I recalled his coldness. I should have felt satisfied, but I only felt a sense of desolation. She once thought love was a refuge, only to realize in the end that she was just a bargaining chip. Zhao Qingqing cried until she eventually had no energy left to curse the Wei Yang. He asked me, am I very laughable? I said, what's laughable isn't that you love the wrong person. It's that you thought you could win against fate by winning against me. She looked up at me, for the first time without hostility. Where else can I go? I did not answer where she could go. Just survive. Some paths, others can only point them out for you. They cannot walk them for you. The day I left the Eastern Palace, I didn't take any jewelry, only the military manuals and my father's letters. The gatekeeper asked softly, will the Wang Fei return? There is no Wang Fei here anymore. I presented the evidence I had uncovered during these days, showing Li Zhen's treason to the emperor. The proof was irrefutable. Li Zhen was sentenced to death. Before the execution, he was disheveled. Yet he still refused to admit his greed. I asked, General Li, my father treated you like a son. Do you have any regrets? Li Zhen laughed miserably. General Shen had no sons of his own. I thought the military power would eventually be mine. I said coldly, so you betrayed the country for your own gain? He was left speechless. Father had long since handed the military seal to me, and his old subordinates stood behind me. Before Li Zhen's execution, the old subordinates all came. Some hated him for his betrayal. Others hated themselves for being blind back then. The day Li Zhen was executed, I took off my elaborate robes, put on armor, and became the first female general of Belly. I held father's half of the tiger seal, together with the new military seal in my palm. Father, your daughter has taken up the mantle. The deputy general knelt down. General Shen, this subordinate is willing to follow you to the frontier. The wind blew across the execution grounds. I knew the Shen family's game had truly restarted from this moment. When the emperor personally proclaimed the edict, the court officials were in an uproar. Some said it was absurd for a woman to hold military power. If anyone is dissatisfied, let us meet at the training ground. At that moment, no one dared to laugh anymore. The old subordinates said in unison, We are willing to follow General Shen. Everyone? The Shen family's battles. From this day forward, I will be the one to fight them. A year later, during the autumn hunt, I saw the Yang again. Beside him was now the southern frontier princess Liu Mingju. She was not like Zhao Qingqing. When she saw me shoot an arrow with precision from 100 paces, her eyes held only genuine admiration. Liu Mingju laughed. General Shen, you are more capable than many men. I replied to her, if the crown princess wishes to learn, I can teach you. The Yang immediately blocked her way. Mingju, managing the Eastern Palace is your responsibility. The light in his eyes had dimmed. I looked at him, as if seeing another version of myself trapped in a cage. The sword competition began, and I fought to a draw with the Yang. But when the sound of pebbles rolling started, I knew Zhao Qingqing had come again. Zhao Qingqing hid behind the crowd, so thin that she was almost unrecognizable. When she saw Liu Mingju, her eyes held both hatred and fear. I did not expose her, handing the sword only to Liu Mingju. Liu Mingju asked in a low voice, Your Highness forbids it. Can I still learn? I said, Your hands are your own to use. He froze, as if it were the first time he had heard someone give him back a choice. Liu Mingju looked at the Yang and whispered, Can I really not learn? He fell silent, and I answered for him. Those who wish to learn will always find a bow. Liu Mingju asked in a low voice, What if I learn in secret? I smiled. Then no one can stop you. After the first became a female general, the objections from the imperial court never ceased. Some said I should be a military strategist. Some complained that my training exhausted the national treasury. And others were just waiting for me to make a mistake, so they could strip me of my title, the minister said. Your Majesty, a woman serving as a general. I fear it lacks stability. General Shen is brave, but it is more appropriate for her to remain behind the scenes. I bowed. The blade on the battlefield will not be any lighter just because I am a woman. The emperor pondered in silence, I knew. Li Zun is dead, but there will be Wang Zun and Zhang Zun. There are too many people eyeing the Shen family's military power. The first hurdle left behind by my father. I must cross it myself. After returning to the estate, I spread the minister's impeachment memorials one by one on the table. My lieutenant slammed the table in anger. They have never seen the general train troops. How dare they claim it lacks stability? I said, It is precisely because they have never seen it that we must make them see it. The next day, before dawn, I began drilling the troops. The louder the clash of steel, the quieter the gossip in the court will become. I put the impeachment papers into a wooden box and named it the gossip box. My lieutenant was puzzled. Why keep them? I said, Once we win, I will return them to them one by one to see. The minister's impeachments grew more severe. I had thought the Yang would take the opportunity to trample on me. After all, I am no longer the third consort who could help him seize the throne, but just General Shen who has divorced him. The Yang suddenly spoke up. Father, why not grant General Shen more time? The ministers fell silent. The emperor asked, Does the crown prince trust her? The Yang glanced at me, then looked away. Your son trusts the Shen family, and I trust her capabilities. My heart skipped a beat. This man is truly cold-hearted, but he is also a master of calculation. His support may not stem from affection, but it is enough to give me more time to prove myself. After the court session, the Yang caught up with me, but he didn't reach out to block my path as he used to. He said from a few steps away, Shenji, don't misunderstand. I am not helping you. I turned back. And I will not thank you, Your Highness, he said. Then thank the imperial preceptor instead. I nodded. If Your Highness acts for the sake of the country, I will remember it. Our relationship finally moved half a step away from the old courtyard. Do not die on this path of proving yourself. The Yang said before leaving, I replied, Rest assured, Your Highness. I must live to see them shut their mouths. This retort was more meaningful to me than any gratitude. After the southern frontier sent a princess for a marriage alliance, most people in the court breathed a sigh of relief. But from the supply chain logistics and the urgent border reports, I smelled danger. If the enemy really wanted peace, they would not be secretly gathering troops. I probed Liu Mingju. Have your father or brother mentioned troop movements at the border? She shook her head. I only know they said both countries should cease hostilities. I pressed further. Do you trust them? He said earnestly. I believe the people of the southern frontier want to live. His sincerity left me unable to doubt him, but it only made me more certain. that he was also being kept in the dark. The marriage alliance is not the end. It might just be a blade sent by the southern frontier into Bailey. Liu Mengzhu wrote down the southern frontier's customs, trade routes, and tribal relationships on 3 pages, she said. If anyone is using the marriage alliance to launch a sneak attack, they would most likely take the southwest tunnel. I stared at that line. A chill ran down my spine. He explained anxiously. I am not trying to pave the way for them. I held her hand down. I know you are protecting Bailey now. Her eyes turned red. She finally stopped looking down. Liu Mingzhu pointed to the waterway on the map. If I were them, I would bypass here to get in. I asked, Are you afraid I will suspect you because of this? He said, I am afraid, but I am even more afraid that you won't be on your guard. The emperor went north for his health. The main force accompanied him. The southern frontier launched a fierce attack on the palace at this very moment. Torches formed a sea, like a river of burning blood. The remaining troops were insufficient. I had to don my armor and climb the wall. The lieutenant said urgently,
General.
The palace gate is about to fall. I drew my sword. Even if we can't hold it, we must try. Behind me are the people of Bailey. The enemy's war cries drew closer. I looked down from the wall. Past the order. Archers, retreat 3 steps. Shield bearers, fill the gap. My father's dying words rang in my ears. The Shen family serves as generals, not for glory, but to protect those behind us. That night, I could not retreat. I ordered the people behind the palace gates to evacuate to the inner city first. While I stayed at the front, the young soldier's voice trembled. General, what if the reinforcements do not arrive? I looked at him. Then let the enemy step over my corpse. To pass, he said. This subordinate will not retreat. More and more shields filled the space beside me. So when the hearts of men are steadfast, even the thinnest defense can hold on a moment longer. The blood on the palace wall was washed away by the rain. I heard the weeping of the people in the distance. The lieutenant asked, General, is it worth it? As long as they are still behind us, it is worth it. Now they understood the tactic of capturing the leader first. They soon surrounded me inside the palace gate. The soldiers fell one by one. My arm was also slashed. Just as the blade came closing in, a flash of sword light struck from behind. The Wei Yang said, Shen Jieyu.
Hold on.
I gasped and asked, Aren't you supposed to be with the emperor in the north? He said. I sensed something was wrong on the way, so I turned back first. Reinforcements will arrive shortly. I sneered. This time, you arrived just in time. He leaned back. Let's survive first, and settle old scores later. Two people who once hated to stand side by side, could now only rely on each other to defend the city. The horns of the reinforcements finally sounded in the distance. The enemy lines fell into chaos. The Wei Yang's shoulder was also splattered with blood, yet he still forced a smile. This time, I owe you one. I parried a blade with my sword. You are not yet the emperor. He was stunned. On the battlefield, there is no third consort, and no crown princess. Only 2 people who must win. The Wei Yang suddenly blocked a blow for me. He groaned. I said, Don't die. I don't want to owe you anything. He replied, Then let's survive together. After the southern frontier was defeated, Liu Mengzhu was labeled as a conspirator due to her status as a princess. By law, she should be executed. She knelt before the hall, neither begging for mercy, nor offering a defense. As if she were used to being pushed around by fate, the emperor asked, General Shen, what reward do you want? I knelt down. This subordinate does not want gold, nor land. I only ask that your majesty spare Liu Mengzhu's life. The Wei Yang frowned. She is, after all, a southern frontier princess. I looked at him, precisely because of that. He is more like a pawn. I know he may not be entirely innocent, but he is certainly not the mastermind behind the war. Saving him is also saving the part of myself that was once trapped by marriage. When Liu Mengzhu heard me pleading for her, she finally burst into tears. She said, General Shen, my family harmed Bailey. You shouldn't have saved me. I replied, I am not saving the southern frontier princess, but someone who never had a choice over their own fate. The emperor looked at the Wei Yang. The Wei Yang remained silent for a long time before saying, Father, General Shen has contributed much in this battle. With that sentence, he saved her. When the emperor finally nodded, Liu Mengzhu prostrated herself on the ground. I helped her up. From now on, your life belongs to you first. She cried and said, I will remember that. All eyes in the hall were fixed on me. I did not back down. Saving Liu Mengzhu was not a moment of weakness, but because I knew all too well that those pushed onto the chessboard should not have to pay the price for the one playing the game. Liu Mengzhu survived the ordeal, but was stripped of her title as crown princess and demoted to a servant. I used my military merits and 10,000 taels of gold to bail her out of the Eastern Palace. She stood at the gate, like a leaf that had lost its roots. Liu Mengzhu choked up. Where else can I go? To the military camp. I wiped her tears. She froze. Can someone like me join the army too? I asked. Can you endure hardship? Can you live for yourself for once? He nodded vigorously. Yes. I did not ask if he still wanted to go back to the Eastern Palace. A princess sent for a marriage alliance finally deserves a chance to choose her own path. Liu Mengzhu stepped into the military camp for the first time and choked on the dust and sand, coughing several times. Zhao Qingqing's group had not yet appeared, but she had already learned to hold back her tears. Put it on. I handed her a set of light armor. From today on, don't listen to anyone else. First, listen to military orders. Then, listen to yourself. She held the armor, as if she were embracing a new life. Once inside the camp, there is no princess, and no disgraced consort. She wiped away her tears. Then what should I be called? Liu Mengzhu. After I established my footing at the border, I specifically accepted women who were willing to join the army. Some had nowhere else to go. Some had been abandoned by their families. Some just wanted to prove they were no worse than men. The discussion soon spread throughout the army. What kind of battles can a female battalion fight? I slammed my military orders on the table. Those who can't hold on leave. Liu Mengzhu gritted her teeth. I will not leave. I looked at her palms, worn raw and blistered. If it hurts, bandage it. Once bandaged, continue. She started from standing in horse stance, running drills, to drawing the bow. Her hands were covered in blood blisters. Yet, she never said another word about wanting to return to the Eastern Palace. The female battalion initially only had a dozen people. The tents were tattered and provisions were scarce, but the cold gazes from others were aplenty. Some would cry secretly at night. Liu Mengzhu had also thought about giving up. She asked me, what if I drag everyone down? I said. Being a burden is not scary. Pretending you aren't afraid is what's truly scary. The next day, she was the first to stand on the drill ground. Her voice was hoarse but clear. I can still train. A female soldier asked, General, what if the men laugh at us? Then train until they can no longer laugh. For the first time, a unified response echoed across the training field. Liu Mengzhu gradually established her footing in the army. One day, when asking about Zhao Qingqing, she only heard the Huaiying say, that is a mad woman. Do not pay her any mind. I was silent for a long time. I had to tell her everything. Liu Mengzhu asked, is she truly the person His Majesty once loved most? I nodded. She had also carried his child. His face turned pale. Was that child because of me? The fault does not lie with you. The fault lies with those who treat women as mere bargaining chips. The Huaiying once, in order to marry the princes of the southern border, personally abandoned Zhao Qingqing. Whether it's an old flame or a new love, in the face of power, both can be easily wiped away. Liu Mengzhu was silent for the whole night. The next day, however, she took the initiative to run an extra 5 miles, she said. I don't want to hate another woman. Because of a man. I watched her forehead hair drenched in sweat, and suddenly recalled the sight of Qingqing crying and apologizing. We were all once pawns placed in different positions within the Eastern Palace. But if the pawns slaughter each other, the one holding the board has the easiest time. When Zhao Qingqing's name was mentioned, the tent fell into a long silence. Liu Mengzhu said, if one day I see her, I would like to apologize to her. I said, don't be in such a hurry to judge yourself for others. When I returned to the capital to report my duties, I saw a newly appointed Ling Di in the Eastern Palace. Her features were somewhat similar to mine. Not recognizing me, she stood in the corridor throwing a tantrum. Who are you? The palace maid hurriedly said, this is General Shen. She immediately fell silent. I entered the hall and saw the Huaiying, unable to help but laugh. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Have you changed your taste? The Huaiying blushed, a rare sight. I interrupted him. I have come to request to return to the border to train troops. He wanted to explain, but I didn't want to hear about replacements. Whether it's the heart or sincerity, none of it is the real business of my trip. Hearing my request to leave, the Huaiying's fingertips rested on the table for a long time. He asked, Is the border better than the capital? I answered. At least the wind at the border blows directly on your face. It doesn't hide a blade. He smiled bitterly. You still speak like this? I bowed. I'm only speaking the truth. Leaving the Eastern Palace, I did not look back. The doors of the past closed, but the path ahead became wider instead. The White Yang wanted to send me a pair of guards. I refused, he asked. You won't even accept my people? I have my own soldiers. Before leaving, the White Yang asked if I was still willing to have an archery contest with him. I agreed. The wind was strong on the training ground. His archery skills were much more refined than before. Almost every arrow pierced the bullseye. Shen Jie, the White Yang said, what I want to win is more than just an archery contest. Your Highness, please mind your words. My hand holding the arrow paused. He looked at me. I want to win you back. I released the arrow, hitting the bullseye dead center. I am loyal to Bailey. That does not mean I will look back. The divorce papers on the day my father passed away. The child Zhao Qingqing lost. The humiliation Liu Mengzhu suffered. None of these can be wiped away by a single expression of regret. That archery match had no audience to cheer. Only the sound of the wind and the bowstrings. Every time the Wang spoke, I recalled an old debt, he asked. What if I hadn't handed over the divorce papers back then? Your Highness, there is no such arrow in this world. An arrow already shot cannot be retrieved. Those who have been hurt cannot pretend they have never bled. He looked at the target, as if finally realizing that some things cannot be regained just by losing a match. I lowered my bow and bowed. Your Majesty. I should return to the border now. I put away my bow, looking past him toward the sky outside the palace walls. The capital is prosperous, yet there isn't an inch of ground here where I can set up camp in peace. The Wei Yang asked, is there really no chance at all? None, he said. I understand. It is I who arrived too late. When the winds and sand at the border were at their fiercest, a woman arrived outside the camp. She knelt at the entrance, her dress stained gray with dust. Yet she stubbornly refused to leave. A soldier came to report, saying her name is Zhao Qingqing. Zhao Qingqing bowed and said, General Shen, please give me a chance to stay in the military camp. I asked, aren't you the one who fears hardship the most? The luxuries of the Eastern Palace. I have enjoyed enough. I looked, looking at him. I will not take you in just because you are pathetic. He looked up, then test me according to the camp's rules. I did not forgive him immediately, nor did I bring up old grievances. But I saw the fear in his eyes, and I also saw the tenacity of someone wanting to survive. I let Zhao Qingqing start as a chore worker. He did not object. At night, after he finished washing a basket of military uniforms, with his fingers soaked white, he asked, Shenji, do you still hate me? I did hate you. He lowered his head. Then why take me in? Because I also want to see a Zhao Qingqing who no longer relies on the Wei Yang. How far she can go. I had someone give Xiao Qingqing an old military uniform. She touched the coarse fabric. This uniform is truly ugly. I said, it keeps out the wind. He nodded. That is enough. I took him in not to forgive the past, but to give the future a chance. The military camp will grind away his vanity, and will also forge his true character. Zhao Qingqing and Liu Mengzhu stood on the same training ground for the first time. One was once the most favored concubine, the other was once the most noble crown princess. They should have resented each other, yet both had been hurt by the same man. Zhao Qingqing raised an eyebrow. So you are that princess of southern border? Liu Mengzhu replied, and you are that crazy woman. I threw a long spear in front of them. If you have the energy to argue, you'd better train. Zhao Qingqing gritted her teeth. Who's afraid of whom? I'll keep you company. Liu Mengzhu also gripped the spear. At first, they couldn't stand each other, but the military camp never asks about one's past status, only about who can hold on longer today. On the first day of training, the two argued over who would use the target range first. Zhao Qingqing was quick-tongued. Liu Mengzhu refused to show weakness. I simply made them share one long spear to practice coordination. Zhao Qingqing said with disdain, she can't keep up with me. Liu Mengzhu gritted her teeth. It's you who are rushing blindly. On the battlefield, it doesn't matter if you like each other or not. It only matters if you can return alive. Spear training lasted until dusk. Both of their palms were worn raw. Zhao Qingqing stubbornly said, she held me back tomorrow. Liu Mengzhu immediately retorted, let's compete again. Very well, continue tomorrow. The emperor passed away. The Wei Yang ascended the throne. The imperial edict traveled 1,000 miles to the border, ordering me to return to the capital to attend the ceremony. I closed my military book and set off with Zhao Qingqing and Liu Mengju. Zhao Qingqing asked, "Are you afraid to see him?" I smiled. What I fear is the grain and fodder at the border, not rescuing anyone. Liu Mengju said softly, "Then we will accompany you." The coronation ceremony was extremely grand. The Wei Yang stood on the high platform. I looked at the mountains and rivers of the north, with only one thought in my mind. No matter who is sitting on the dragon throne, I must protect this land. On the way back to the capital, all three of us had changed into light riding gear. When the commoners along the way saw the female cavalry, they were surprised at first. Then some quietly followed and ran alongside us. A little girl asked, "Gigi, can women be soldiers too?" Liu Mengju bent down and answered,
Yes.
"But it will be very hard. Being hard is still better than being trapped." Zhao Qingqing smiled. I did not turn back, but I heard that child's footsteps chasing us for a long distance. The Wei Yang saw us entering the city from the palace wall, his expression complex. Zhao Qingqing said in a low voice, "He saw me." "Are you afraid?" She shook her head. "No longer afraid." The Wei Yan asked from afar, "General Shen, has the journey been arduous?" "I have come from the border. I do not fear the long distance." Zhao Qingqing whispered, "Well said. We will accompany you into the palace, and we will also accompany you out." After the ceremony, the Wei Yang invited me to another sword duel. If I win, he must treat the surrendered southern border people kindly, employ talented individuals, and no longer let old hatreds trap new citizens. The Wei Yang asked, "And if I, the emperor, win? What does your highness desire?" He was silent for a moment. "You must grant me one request." Zhao Qingqing whispered from the side, "This bet is not easy to make." Exactly because it is not easy to make, it is worth a gamble. The archery match began. His first arrow pressed right against the edge of the bullseye. I finally realized he was not just making a random challenge this time. I knew the Wei Yang's request would not just be about a reward. The look in his eyes was too familiar, like a lingering obsession, and like an emperor wishing to fulfill a regret. Liu Mengju whispered a reminder. "What if he uses imperial orders to keep you? Then I will face him openly before all the officials." Zhao Qingqing raised an eyebrow. "General, don't lose." I smile. So this sword must not tremble. Before the sword match, I tighten my wrist guards. The Wei Yang asks, "You are still like this, wanting to win at everything?" "I am not trying to win against you. I am trying to win a path forward." The Wei Yang could have clearly won with his last arrow, but the moment he looked at me, he veered half an inch off. The arrow hit the ground. The entire arena went silent. I know he yielded the victory to me and swallowed that request back. The Wei Yang asks, "General Shen, how many days do you intend to stay in the palace? Your Majesty's swordsmanship has greatly improved. This subject will not dare to underestimate you in the future." He smiles. Answering without addressing the question is an answer in itself. The border cannot function without someone there, I say in a low voice. He does not insist on keeping me, only saying, "From this day forward, I will not force you to do anything you are unwilling to do." These words come too late, but they still count as a late-coming act of letting go. I did not just win a sword match. I won a way for the people of the southern border to survive for the next few decades. When the Wei Yang was drafting the imperial edict, I stood by the desk, reading word for word. He asked, "Do you trust me so little?" This subject trusts the system once it is on paper. I say I trust the imperial seal even more. He sighs, but still, does as I asked. Past affection cannot give the world peace. Black ink on white paper can. The moment the edict was stamped, Liu Mengju finally let out a long sigh of relief. Zhao Qingqing whispers, "Your makeup is smudged." He replies, "Who in the military camp cares about makeup?" When I returned to the border, Zhao Qingqing and Liu Mengju were already lined up with the female soldiers to welcome me. The wind and sand hit our faces. One was holding a spear, the other wearing a sword. In their eyes, there was no longer the weakness of trying to please anyone. Liu Mengju smiles and says, "General, everything in the camp is exactly as it was." Zhao Qingqing adds, "It's just that without you, no one could command that group of new recruits." I look at them. It seems I have returned at just the right time. In the distance, the horn sounds. The female soldiers salute in unison. The women who were once trapped in the Eastern Palace have now all found their own shadows standing in the wind and sand. I suddenly feel that the grievances I suffered along the way were not entirely meaningless. The sound of new recruit training. The sound of training is louder than the scream. Stand up straighter. Don't let the general think I can't lead people well. Zhao Qingqing says loudly on purpose. Liu Mengzhu smiles and exposes her. Yet yesterday, someone was slacking off and was punished by you until they cried. I listened to them bicker, feeling very peaceful. There is no scent of perfume from the Eastern Palace here. Only sweat, dust, and the heat of being alive. I dismount. The female soldiers shout in unison, General. Greetings, General. That sound makes me feel more secure than the ceremonial music of the palace. Extra training today, I tell them. Zhao Qingqing sighs. But Liu Mengzhu laughs. General Shen has returned to the camp. Attention camp. Liu Mengzhu announces. I flip off my horse. You have all worked hard.
I say.
Continue training from today on. Everyone shouts together. Welcome back to camp. Fall in. On the day of the assessment, Zhao Qingqing leads the new recruits over mountains and through mud. She used to be the most afraid of getting dirty. But now she carries a severely injured soldier in the pouring rain, stubbornly completing the 10-mile trek. The new recruits mock. Can the side consort even endure this kind of hardship? Zhao Qingqing drops the person into the mud. There is no side consort in this camp. There is only Zhao Qingqing. I stand on the slope and ask, can you still run? He pants and smiles. I can run. General, don't underestimate me. At that moment, I finally believe that he didn't just want to find a shelter. He truly wanted to personally carry his old self, the one who relied on men out of the mud. After the 10-mile run, Zhao Qingqing's legs are shaking, yet she still helps the injured recruit to the military doctor's tent. The recruit says softly, General Zhao, I shouldn't have laughed at you earlier. Zhao Qingqing waves her hand. Laugh louder next time. It gives me more energy to chase you. I hear this from outside the tent, and cannot help but smile. He has finally learned to use his sharp edge on living, breathing things, instead of on vying for favor. When the military doctor bandages Zhao Qingqing, she winces in pain, but is still stubborn. This is much lighter than all those problems in the Eastern Palace. The military doctor laughs. General Zhao, that mouth of yours is sharper than a blade. After Zhao's father was demoted to the border, he suffered cold shoulders.
He initially thought his daughter was still the one who only
knew how to circle around the Weiyang, until he saw her wearing green armor, leading a squad of soldiers standing before him. Qingqing? Zhao's father says in a daze. How did you become like this? Father, Zhao Qingqing steadies him. I have become someone capable of protecting our family. She chokes up. Father is incompetent. Unable to protect you. She smiles. From now on, let me protect you. She does not complain about the Weiyang's heartlessness, nor does she ask her father to stand up for her. She simply leads him through the camp, letting him see that she can now support herself, and can also hold up the Zhao family. Zhao's father watches the female soldiers salute Zhao Qingqing, and in his confusion, he wants to kneel too. Father, you don't need to kneel to me here. Zhao Qingqing quickly stops him. I only hoped you would marry well in the past. He says softly. I used to hope for the same thing. Father and daughter look at each other and smile. Those unspoken regrets are finally blown away a little by the wind of the border. Before Zhao's father leaves, General Shen, he salutes me solemnly. Thank you for giving her a new path. I steady him. The path is one she walked for herself. After the southern border was defeated, many people suffered discrimination in the northern territory. Liu Mengzhu sees refugees being driven away, guilt-ridden to the point of not sleeping all night, even feeling she should atone for her father and brother's sins. Liu Mengzhu says, if it weren't for the southern border starting the war, they wouldn't be like this. I ask her, were you the one who started the war? She shakes her head. Then don't carry the guilt of the wicked. Go fight for a path for the innocent. She looks up. Can I still fight for it? I push the household registration book toward her. You understand the people of the southern border better than anyone. From that day on, she is no longer just a princess of a fallen state, but a person who settles the new inhabitants. Liu Mengzhu begins leading people to teach southern border women and children to weave and make medicine, and also teaches the northern Li soldiers a few words of the southern language. At first, both sides were awkward, but later some were willing to sit and eat from the same pot. She comes back to tell me, so atonement isn't kneeling and crying. I nod. It's standing up and getting things done. She smiles. In that smile, there is no longer the burden of a princess, only the lightness of an individual. Liu Mengzhu holds the first batch of registration lists in her arms, as if she is holding a home she lost and regained, she says. I am finally not someone who will just be sent away to others. Ji, Zhao, Qingqing, and Liu Mengzhu, for the first time, formally gathered around the same military map. We no longer fight for victory over the same man. but over grain routes, attacks, defenses, and garrisons. Zhao Qingqing points to the map. The relationships here are complicated. Send someone who can talk well first. Liu Mengzhu adds, the southern border people have taboos against moving graves this month. Don't push them too hard. I nod. The army is responsible for patrol and defense. The workshops are responsible for settling the women and children. Zhao Qingqing laughs. I didn't expect us to have a day where we discuss matters together.
I say.
Formerly rivals in love. Today we are comrades in arms. The wind outside the tent is strong, but inside, for the first time, there is a true direction. Zhao Qingqing is good at reading people's expressions. Liu Mengzhu is familiar with the customs of the border people, and I manage military orders and border defense. When the three of us argue, the soldiers outside do not dare to come near. Zhao Qingqing slams the table. The grain carts must go first. Liu Mengzhu refutes. The people must be settled first. I tap the map, both are correct. So we go in two routes. By the end of the argument, we understand each other's shortcomings better than anyone else. After the meeting ends, all three of us are exhausted and collapse into our seats. It turns out governing the border is much harder than vying for favor. Liu Mengzhu replies, but it is also much more meaningful. The new policy reaches the capital. The Weiyang finally allows the southern border people to register and engage in trade, and also allows those with talent to enter officialdom. The old grievances at the border won't vanish overnight, but the door has finally been opened a crack. Liu Mengzhu looks at the edict. They finally don't have to keep their heads down for the rest of their lives. Zhao Qingqing says, don't be too happy yet. The local officials may not necessarily listen. I put away the edict. That is why we must keep an eye on them. A soldier reports, the first batch of workshops has already started their furnaces. The firelight reflects in Liu Mengzhu's eyes. She no longer atones for her lost country, but is paving the way for those who are alive. The Weiyang this time has finally seen the country as further away than his own prejudice. On the day the first batch of southern border children enter school, Liu Mengzhu stands outside the door for a long time. A child asks timidly, Princess sister, what kind of people will we be in the future? Liu Mengzhu squats down, people who can grow up well. Zhao Qingqing looks away, pretending not to see her crying. I tuck the edict into the box, knowing that this is the harder victory after the war is over. Local officials write letters complaining that the new policy is troublesome. I reply directly, if it's troublesome, then learn to do it. Zhao Qingqing laughs out loud after reading it. General, these 4 words could make them so angry they can't sleep. 2 years later, the emperor's birthday banquet. I bring Zhao Qingqing and Liu Mengzhu back to the capital. Yellow. The palace is still prosperous. Golden tiles and red walls just like in the old days. But it can no longer trap us. Zhao Qingqing whispers, I used to think this place was the best place under heaven. And now? Zhao Qingqing looks at the palace gate. It's too stifling, not as good as the wind at the border. Let's go in. Today we only attend the banquet, not enter the game. The three of us walk side by side down the long street. The palace servants and noble ladies who once made us bow our heads now step aside one after another, not because of whose wives we are, but because we have walked here on our own. Before the banquet, the palace servants wanted to change me into complex court dress according to old custom. I refused and only wore my general's uniform. Zhao Qingqing touches the long spear at her waist. Should we bring it in? No fighting today, he said with regret. That would be boring. Liu Mengzhu smoothed out his cloak for him. Being able to let them see us return like this is already interesting enough. Someone at the banquet tentatively brought up the past. The past is not worth a single cup of wine. Zhao Qingqing and Liu Mengzhu exchanged a knowing smile. Help me block any further idle gossip.